sound of soft rain tapped against the window as Tara leaned closer to her laptop, the screen casting a pale glow across her face. Her room was filled with the hum of electronics and the soft breathing of her dog, Jasper, curled up at her feet. 17 years old and already deep into lines of code, Tara was not your average high school senior. While others scrolled endlessly through social media, she built something that could change lives. She had always loved puzzles, things that seemed broken but could be fixed with the right pattern. That was how she saw the world. So when her senior project was announced, Tara knew what she wanted to build. A platform that used cryptocurrency to help real people. Fast, direct, and fair. She called it HeartChain, a place where every donation reached someone in need, without delay or doubt. "I want to do something that matters," she murmured, adjusting her glasses. Her fingers moved swiftly, crafting smart contracts and encrypting donation trails. Jasper looked up, wagging his tail as if he understood her every word. At school, she presented her idea to Mr. Lin, her computer science teacher. He listened carefully, nodding. "This is impressive, Tara, but funding something like this, it may not go far without support." Tara only smiled. "It just needs one person to believe." That night, the code was ready. She uploaded the project to the school's digital showcase and went to bed with Jasper curled beside her. When she woke the next morning and opened the dashboard, her heart stopped. There it was, a new transaction, a donation, $1 million. The sender, a single username, Wild Binary. Tara stared at the screen, her breath caught in her chest. $1 million. It did not feel real. She blinked once, twice, but the numbers stayed. Her hands hovered over the keyboard, trembling slightly. Jasper let out a low whine, sensing her sudden stillness. She reached down and stroked his head, whispering, "It is real. Someone actually believed." She clicked the transaction ID. Everything was clean, anonymous. The funds were genuine, locked into her platform's smart contract. The username, Wild Binary, was the only clue. No message, no trace. Just generosity wrapped in mystery. At school, the news traveled fast. By lunch, students gathered around Tara like she was famous. "Is it real?" someone asked. "Who donated that much money?" Another chimed in. Mr. Lin pulled her aside, his brow furrowed. "Tara, I checked the chain. The transaction is real. That donation, it could change everything." She nodded slowly. "But I do not know who did it. They just gave." As she walked through the crowded hallway, she noticed a quiet figure by the lockers. Liam. Tall, shy, always tucked behind a book or a hoodie. He glanced at her for a split second, then looked away. Back home, Tara refreshed the platform. More users had joined. Small donations trickled in. Her project was alive. But her thoughts kept circling one question. Who was Wild Binary? She looked out the window as rain returned, tapping gently against the glass. Somewhere out there, someone saw her, believed in her, and gave her the key to something much bigger. And she had no idea why. The air outside turned colder, but Tara barely noticed. All she could think about was that name, Wild Binary. She ran searches, scoured blockchain records, followed digital trails through endless code. Nothing. Whoever they were, they wanted to stay hidden. In class, everything felt different. Whispers followed her down the halls. Some kids called her lucky, others a genius. But Tara was not thinking about fame. She was thinking about purpose. At lunch, she sat under the big oak tree near the soccer field. Laptop open, Jasper curled at her side. She added new features to the platform, tools to let donors choose exactly where their money would go. The more she built, the more it felt like something real, something with a soul. Liam passed by, headphones in, head down, but he slowed, just for a second. His eyes met hers. "You made that charity thing, right?" he asked softly. Tara looked up, surprised. "Yeah, I did." He hesitated, then nodded once and kept walking. No smile, no explanation, just that brief spark in his voice, like he wanted to say more, but chose silence instead. That night, Tara received another message. Not a donation this time. A small note attached to the platform, buried in the code. "Keep building. You are not alone. Wild binary. Her heart skipped. Someone was watching, someone who believed, but why her? She whispered to Jasper. What do they want from me? The dog only blinked, head resting on her knee, calm and loyal as ever. Outside, the wind howled gently through the trees, and Tara began to feel that this was more than a project. It was a path, and someone, somewhere, was walking it with her. The next morning, Tara could barely focus in class. Her mind kept replaying the message. Keep building. You are not alone. Every word echoed with a strange warmth, like a secret only she was meant to hear. During computer science, she stared at her screen, pretending to code, but her eyes flicked up every few seconds. Liam sat 3 rows ahead, hoodie pulled up, typing something quickly. She watched his fingers move with quiet confidence. He was not just pressing keys. He was speaking a language, a fluent one. After class, Tara gathered her courage and approached him at his locker. Hey, Liam, she said gently. He turned slowly, eyes guarded. She smiled. You are good at coding, right? He shrugged. I guess. I was just wondering. She hesitated. Have you ever heard of someone using the name Wild Binary? For a split second, just a blink, something shifted in his eyes. Then it was gone. Nope, never heard of it, he said, voice flat. Tara nodded, but something in her gut whispered otherwise. Back home, she checked the platform again. Another donation had come in. Not millions, just $50. But attached was a line of code. It triggered a new feature she had not built. It was clean, elegant, better than hers. Jasper growled softly at the door, ears perked, like he felt a presence that was not quite there. Tara stared at the screen, heart racing. Whoever Wild Binary was, they were not just watching anymore. They were helping, and they were far more skilled than she had imagined. That night, Tara sat in her room, surrounded by lines of glowing code, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. The message and the unexpected feature replayed in her mind like a riddle she could almost solve. Someone out there, smarter, quieter, was guiding her project. But why anonymously? Jasper let out a low, curious bark and padded toward the window. Tara followed his gaze and spotted a figure across the street, standing under the dim glow of a street lamp. They were not moving, just watching. She blinked. The figure was gone. Her heart pounded as she shut her laptop. She told herself it was nothing, just a shadow, a trick of light. But deep inside, she knew someone was getting closer. The next day at school, she stepped into the library and found Liam alone at the farm table. Headphones off, eyes closed like he was lost in thought. She walked over and sat across from him. I know it is you, she said quietly. He opened his eyes slowly, not startled, almost like he had been expecting her. I do not know what you are talking about, he said, but his voice had a soft edge to it. Less defense, more fear. You built part of my platform. The new feature? That was not random. He looked away. You should focus on the work, not on who is behind it. Why not both? There was a pause. Then he stood, stuffing his laptop into his backpack. Because if you knew everything, he said softly, you might walk away. And just like that, he left. Tara sat frozen, Jasper's image still on her laptop screen, tail wagging like a reminder to trust her instincts. Who was Liam really? And what was he afraid she would find? Rain fell steadily that evening, tapping soft rhythms against Tara's window as she sat alone with her thoughts. The glow of her laptop lit the room in shades of blue, reflecting off Jasper's watchful eyes. She replayed Liam's words over and over. If you knew everything, you might walk away. But Tara was not the kind to walk away from a puzzle, not when it mattered. She opened a blank terminal and began tracing every line of the donated code. It was not just efficient, it was beautiful. Subtle touches, quiet protections built into the code like someone cared deeply, not just about the function, but the people behind it. Then she found it, hidden deep within a subroutine, a small encrypted line. It read, we build not to be seen, but to serve. -WB, her breath caught, not a signature. A belief, she whispered, you are not just donating. You are building this with me. The next day, she waited near the school's tech lab until Liam walked in. She followed, quiet but determined. "Liam," she said softly, "I do not want the money. I do not care about the attention. I just want to know why you are helping me." He turned, eyes tired, vulnerable in a way she had never seen. "Because I saw what you made," he said, "and I knew it mattered. I have been hiding behind numbers, wallets, algorithms for years. But you reminded me why I started." She looked at him, really looked, and for the first time saw not a shy boy, but someone carrying something heavy. "You are wild binary," she said. He nodded once. Tara's world shifted. The donor, the code, the mystery. It was him all along. And now nothing between them was hidden, except for one truth. Why had a billionaire hidden in plain sight in her school? Tara sat on the edge of the bench outside the school gym, the autumn air cool against her skin. Her thoughts spun faster than any line of code. Liam, quiet, hoodie-wearing Liam, was wild binary, a name whispered across tech forums and investor blogs, always a mystery. She had read stories about wild binary moving millions across blockchain for startups and charities, but never imagined he had been walking these halls, eating the same cafeteria food, hiding behind a backpack and silence. Liam sat beside her, shoulders slightly hunched, his voice low. "My parents were programmers. They died in a car crash when I was 13. After that, I dove into code, started with bugs in old games, then cryptocurrency. Then, well, one idea exploded." Tara listened, heart softening. "I did not want people to know. Fame messes with truth," he added. "But when I saw your platform, the way you coded care into every line, I saw something real." She looked at him carefully. "Why not tell me from the start?" He gave a faint smile. "Because I am not used to being seen for who I am, just for what I have." Jasper appeared from the corner of the building, tail wagging. He trotted over and sat at Liam's feet, looking up with curious eyes. Tara chuckled. "He likes you. That is rare." Liam reached down and gently scratched Jasper behind the ear. "Smart dog," she smiled. "Very." Their eyes met, not as coder and investor, but as two souls who had both built walls and were now watching them fall. But just as Tara felt the warmth of something new blooming between them, her phone buzzed. A message popped up from the platform. Unauthorized access detected. Funds being rerouted. Jasper barked once, sharp, alert, and just like that, the storm returned. Tara's heart hammered as she stared at the flashing warning on her screen. Unauthorized access. Funds being rerouted. Her fingers trembled, racing across the keyboard to trace the breach. "Jasper, stay close," she whispered, her voice tight with fear and determination. The dog pressed against her leg, eyes wide and alert. Liam leaned over her shoulder, eyes narrowing at the screen. "Someone's trying to steal the money?" he said grimly. "But not just that. They want control." The school's peaceful halls suddenly felt distant, like they belonged to a different world. Here, in this room, the battle was digital, but no less real. "We have to stop this," Tara said, voice steady despite the chaos inside her. They worked together, fingers flying, coding and decoding, tracing lines of attack and building firewalls faster than she had ever imagined possible. Minutes passed like hours. Then just as hope began to fade, a breakthrough. "I blocked their route," Liam announced, exhaling deeply. "But they are smart. We need more layers." Tara's eyes met his. In that moment, she felt the weight of what they were protecting. Not just money, but the lives it would touch. Outside, Jasper whimpered softly, sensing the tension. Tara reached down, rubbing his ears. "We will not let them win, boy." The room fell into a tense silence. Then Liam spoke quietly, almost to himself. "This fight, it is bigger than us." Tara nodded, biting her lip. The battle had just begun, and the real question was, who was behind the attack? The sun dipped low, casting long shadows over the quiet town, as Tara and Liam sat side by side in the dim glow of their screens. They had fortified the platform, weaving layer after layer of protection, but the feeling of unease lingered like a storm cloud, refusing to pass. Liam's fingers hovered over the keyboard, then paused. "This attack isn't random," he said quietly. "It has a pattern, like someone knows exactly what they are after." Tara nodded, her eyes sharp. "It is personal." They dug deeper into the blockchain's tangled web, tracing the source of the breach. Every lead pointed to a familiar address, one tied to a large, shadowy crypto firm with a reputation for ruthless takeovers. Liam clenched his jaw. "They want to control HeartChain, turn it into just another profit machine." Tara's gaze hardened. "But this platform was built to give power back to the people. We cannot let that happen." Suddenly, Jasper growled low, his hackles raised. Outside the window, the last light faded, and a black cat slipped silently through the shadows, its emerald eyes watching. Tara whispered, "Even the animals sense something is wrong." Liam looked up, meeting her gaze. "We are not just fighting code. We are fighting for trust, for meaning." A notification pinged on Tara's laptop, an incoming message from Wild Binary. She clicked it open. "Be ready. The next move will change everything." Her breath caught. The chessboard was set, and the game was far from over. The weight of the message pressed on Tara's chest as she read Wild Binary's words again. "Be ready. The next move will change everything." The room felt colder, shadows deepening around her. Jasper lay quietly by her feet, sensing the tension but offering silent comfort. Liam leaned back, running a hand through his hair. "They are preparing something bigger," he said. "We need a plan." Tara nodded, eyes narrowing. "HeartChain is more than code now. It is hope. If they take it, they take something far greater than money." The school bell rang faintly outside, but inside the lab, time stood still. Together, they mapped out strategies, coding safeguards and backdoors, testing every angle. Hours slipped by unnoticed. Tara's fingers ached, but she refused to stop. At one point, Liam looked up, voice softer than before. "You know, I have never trusted anyone like this. Not since before everything changed." Tara met his gaze, feeling the weight behind his words. "Me neither," she said. Suddenly, the platform beeped. An alert. New activity. Not an attack, but a donation. A massive one. The username flashed again. Wild Binary. Tara's eyes filled with a mix of awe and determination. "This is not just a fight for the platform," she whispered. "It is a fight for what it stands for." Jasper barked softly, tail wagging with hope. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees, carrying a promise that the battle was far from over. But together they would face it, no matter what came next. The days that followed carried a strange mixture of calm and tension. HeartChain's donations grew steadily, and with each new contribution, Tara felt a growing sense of purpose. Yet the shadow of the attack still loomed, an invisible threat hovering over every line of code she wrote. One afternoon, as the sun filtered through the classroom windows, Tara sat beside Liam in the library. They shared a quiet moment, Jasper resting his head on Tara's lap, the warmth of friendship wrapping around them. "I never imagined that something I built could mean so much," Tara said softly. "Not just to me, but to so many people." Liam nodded, eyes thoughtful. Sometimes the smallest ideas carry the greatest power. Their conversation was interrupted by a soft beep. A new message appeared on Tara's screen, this time from a different user. "You are not alone. There are more of us who believe in what you are building." Tara looked up, surprised. Liam smiled faintly. "It seems you have found a whole network of allies." Outside the library window, a squirrel darted across the lawn, pausing to look back as if to remind them that every small connection mattered. Tara's heart lifted. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she was no longer alone. Together they were building something bigger than themselves, a community coded in kindness, trust, and hope. And with every keystroke, the future was starting to change. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Tara sat by her window, Jasper curled tightly beside her. The soft glow of her laptop illuminated her face as she reviewed the latest updates on HeartChain. The platform had grown beyond her wildest dreams, millions of dollars flowing directly to those in need, thousands of people connected through a shared belief in change. Her phone buzzed softly. A new message from Wild Binary appeared. "You built more than code. You built a movement. Keep going." Tara smiled, a warmth spreading through her chest. She whispered to Jasper, "We did it, boy. Together." At school, Liam approached her quietly, his usual shyness softened by something deeper. "You showed me what mattered beyond numbers," he said, "what it means to make a difference." They looked out over the town, the fading light casting a golden glow on the trees and rooftops. "I never thought I could find that here," Tara said. "Right here, in this quiet town." Liam nodded. "Sometimes the biggest change comes from the smallest places." Jasper barked happily, as if in agreement. As night settled, Tara closed her laptop and stood by the window, watching the stars emerge one by one. Somewhere out there, Wild Binary watched too, no longer anonymous but a partner in the journey. The story was far from over, but for the first time, Tara felt ready for whatever came next. Because hope, real hope, was coded into every heartbeat, every connection, every choice they made. And together they were unstoppable. The morning sun filtered through the curtains as Tara woke to a new sense of possibility. Heartchain had blossomed into more than a school project. It had become a lifeline for so many people she would never meet but felt deeply connected to. In the quiet moments before school, Tara and Liam met under the old oak tree where their friendship had begun. The leaves rustled gently in the breeze, carrying whispers of change and growth. "I never thought this would lead to so much," Liam said, his voice calm but filled with wonder. "Not just the money, but the community, the meaning." Tara smiled, feeling the weight of their journey settle around her like a soft blanket. "We built this together. It is more than any of us could have done alone." Jasper bounded up to them, tail wagging, as if sensing the celebration in the air. He dropped a worn tennis ball at Tara's feet, inviting a moment of simple joy. As they laughed and played, Tara glanced up at the sky, where clouds drifted lazily. Somewhere far away, the stars waited to shine, just like the hopes they had planted. She whispered, "This is only the beginning." And with every step forward, they knew that no matter the challenges ahead, they were ready, because together they had discovered the true power of connection. The days turned warmer as spring arrived, bringing fresh life to the sleepy town. Heartchain's impact rippled outward. Families helped, shelters supported, dreams sparked in places once forgotten. Tara and Liam watched the changes unfold, their bond growing stronger with every challenge they faced together. One afternoon, they met at the town's small park, where a group of children played nearby. Tara noticed a young girl carefully feeding a stray cat, her eyes full of gentle hope. "That cat reminds me of Jasper," Liam said quietly, watching the scene. Tara nodded. Animals seem to understand what words cannot say. They feel the heart behind their actions. As they talked, a message arrived on Tara's laptop. A heartfelt thank you from a community center that had received funding through Heartchain. The words were simple but powerful. "You gave us hope when we needed it most." Tara's eyes shimmered with emotion. "This is why we keep going. Every donation, every moment, it all matters." Liam smiled, reaching for her hand. "We are part of something bigger now, and it is just beginning." Jasper barked softly, nuzzling Tara's side as if to say, "Let us keep moving forward." Together, under the warm sun and open sky, they stepped into the future, undaunted, united, and full of purpose. The evening air was filled with the soft hum of distant laughter and the gentle rustling of leaves. Tara and Liam stood side by side on the school's rooftop, overlooking the town they had quietly transformed. "Do you ever think about how far we've come?" Tara asked, her voice filled with wonder. Liam smiled, his eyes reflecting the twinkling lights below. "All the time, from a simple idea to a movement that touches so many lives." Jasper rested at their feet, his tail wagging slowly, content and calm. Tara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the journey settle into a quiet strength inside her. "We faced doubts, fear, even attacks, but we never gave up." "Because it was never just about the code," Liam replied. "It was about people, connection, trust." A gentle breeze carried the scent of blooming flowers, wrapping around them like a promise. Tara turned to Liam, hope shining in her eyes. "Whatever comes next, we will face it together." He nodded. "Together." As stars began to sprinkle across the night sky, Tara felt a deep certainty. The future was uncertain, yes, but it was theirs to shape. With every heartbeat, every choice, every connection, they had proven one truth, that even in the smallest town, in the quietest moments, real change could be born. And they were ready to write the next chapter, side by side, unstoppable. If this story moved you, share it with someone who believes in the power of purpose-driven tech. Like, comment, and subscribe for more stories where heart meets innovation and where every line of code tells a story of hope.